In case you've been living under a rock, there's been a lot going on with the Patriots quarterback room over the past couple days. Mac Jones, we kind of knew that he was slated in as a starter. Bill O'Brien mentioned consistency and being able to show up and do your job every day. He was doing that. But obviously, Bailey Zappe had kind of a tough preseason and training camp. And we saw that, I think we all thought that, he could have gotten better, but it turned out that he was waived yesterday, exposed to waivers where teams could have gotten him. Same happened to Malik Cunningham, who's been working at wide receiver, but is still considered a quarterback and has had some time there. So to try to make sense of all this and also get a better understanding of what these quarterbacks can improve on given their situations and where they actually thrive, I decided to go to my quarterback guy and my dear, dear friend and mentor, Mark Schofield. Mark, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. It is fantastic to be here, my friend. I am honored to be here. I guess this is the first run you're going through for a film show. Questionable situational awareness, bringing me on, but I'm going to try to do the best that I can. Very excited to be here, though. Excited to chop up some film, go through some reads and stuff like that. It's going to be fun.
Mark, you are brilliant. You are humble, and you're also a man of many talents and interests. You also cover FS1 as well as the NFL for SB Nation. Let the people know who may not be familiar with the most recent events in the FS1 world. What's going on there?
Yeah, I wear many hats at SB Nation, NFL, F1. I do a lot of different stuff. Big news F1-wise is Max Verstappen, Italian Grand Prix this week at Monza, the Temple of Speed. He is chasing history. If he wins this week, it will be his 10th victory in a row, which will set a new record in Formula One history. That was previously set, which he tied last week when he won at the Dutch Grand Prix, tied the mark set by Sebastian Vettel in 2013. So if he wins this week, it's an F1 record. Now, it's been a boring season. I will say that. If people out there listening and watching are sort of bored to tears by F1, I get it. Like, it's sometimes hard to do sort of live blog and say, yeah, here we go. We're 5 laps in. And Max is winning by 10 seconds already. So we all know where this is going. But he's been incredible. If he wins this week, it'll be a new record. We also got Daniel Ricciardo with a broken bone in his hand. So we've got Liam Lawson, who literally found out Friday afternoon that he was going to get one practice session and start in the race. So that's the F1 world. People are clamoring for football, though. This is a football show. Let's roll into some ball.
Yes, sir. So as you said, this is the first segment of a new thing we're trying here called Film with Friends, where I bring on some people who I really respect their insights, and I'm still trying to learn every day when it comes to this football stuff. So I had you on. I threw some questions at you regarding the Patriots quarterbacks and their situations. The first one we're going to go over is actually Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator, because as we know, the Patriots have had a pretty tumultuous situation at the right tackle position specifically. They brought in a ton of affordable veterans. Some people were saying, hey, bring in, like an Orlando Brown or a Caleb McGarry. They said, we're not going to, relatively overpay for those guys. We're going to re-sign Connor McDermott. We're going to bring in Riley Reif and Calvin Anderson on some pretty modest deals, throw things at the wall, see what sticks. We also saw them draft City. So doesn't look like he's going to be ready this season. Unfortunately, Riley Reif got rolled up on against the Titans. Connor McDermott is now on injured reserve out for the entire season. And Calvin Anderson is back, but he was on the non-football illness list for really almost the entire offseason program. So you're not sure when he's going to be back or what you're going to get from him. So with that said, how can Bill O'Brien help out Mac Jones and maybe do something so that the right tackle position isn't such a glaring weakness? And if you could share Mark's screen, please.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's see here.
Let's see. This is a new show, so we're still working things out here. All right, there we go. Perfect.
So, yeah, there are a number of different things you can do, obviously. Schematically, quick game, RPOs, screens. Like, those are 3 things you can do sort of off the top of my head out of the gate that you can do to sort of slow up a pass rush, help out the right tackle spot, help out the offensive line in general. And there's some other plays that we can probably work through where you're talking quick game, where you're talking, getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly, not asking the offensive line to block 3, 4, 5 seconds into the down. But this play we're going to look at here, 3rd-and-8 situation from the game against the Packers, early Q1. I want to see and focus on tight end right here in the wing. because this is what you're probably going to see a lot of. I know Patriots fans, myself included, we're excited about what we might see from 12 personnel, what we might see from this 2 tight end package. I'm working on an NFL preview, a big NFL preview we're doing for over at SB Nation. And myself and JP Acosta, the working title for this piece is the return of big boy grilling on the roof football, because we think we're going to see a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 21 personnel, even some run game this year, sort of league wide. And obviously the Patriots look to be at the forefront of that. But this is 3rd and 8. You got to throw the ball and you got to push it downfield. We're going to get sort of a dragon concept, which is what some teams call it. Where you're going to get post routes here on the outside. You're going to get the sort of dig route, in breaker right here from the slot. Henry's going to chip and release. And that's really what I want to sort of focus on here, because if you're worried about the right tackle spot, if you're worried about a left tackle spot as well, you sort of need to give that player some help, in which case you chip and release. And so that's what you're going to see here. You're going to see this sort of quick chip on the edge rusher there. After Max sort of points it out here. Again, working quickly here.
Telling JJ what to do with the protection.
Yeah, chip right there. Now, he's stunted inside anyway, so it's maybe not the best example, but about all the sort of plays in the preseason that I've worked through, this is sort of the best example of it, where you get that chip right here, which is going to help that right tackle. Now, it ends up working where he sort of loops inside, so you get pressure, but at the same time, that helps give Jones just enough time, because, again, you're working these sort of deep curls here, or deep post here, and he's going to get his eyes to that, and it needs time to develop. He just hands in there long enough to get it off, and you get a nice catch by Bourne to go up and get this. But sort of chipping and release it is something I think you're going to see a lot of here. Again, you see it from the tight angle here. You're going to see that chip, give that right tackle some help, and then let him roll.
Mm-hmm. Gives him just enough time.
Now, and the big thing about this is, if you think back to last year, the game at Green Bay, where Wynn had some trouble with Rashawn Gary, and they were, getting pressure off the edge on Hoyer, on Zappe in that game. There are a lot of plays where it was that speed rush to the outside, threatening the outside edge, the outside shoulder of the right tackle. With this chip here, now if you assume that 90 is going to come straight upfield and he's not stunting to the inside, he's going to get pinned right here. And you'll see the right tackle here is in a position, if he stays upfield to that outside shoulder, 61 is going to sort of pin him right here, and you're not going to get pressure at all.
Right. Now, when they do end up doing the stunt on the other side, that's when we're hoping during the regular season, you got Trent Bound and Cole Strange, they'll be able to pick that up a little better than with Antonio Mafi, who doesn't have a lot of reps in that position.
Right. So, I mean, you're hoping that you're going to see this get passed off here, where centers are going to end up picking up 90, do a cleaner job getting off. The problem is 94 really gets into the guard. And so center feels like, look, man, I really got to help him. He has to come off late. In an ideal world, you get the quick help. Center gets the quick help on 94, peels off, picks up 90, and you've got a clean pocket here because they're just rushing 4. And then, unfortunately on the backside, you get pressure as well, not to get that little stunt, and they do a bad job sort of exchanging that as well. So, you'd like to see much better communication and exchanging these stunts up front. General premise, though, that chip here is, I think, something you're going to see a lot of going forward.
Absolutely. And I've been saying it this offseason where you can cover up one bad offensive lineman. And this is a perfect example of that. If it's just City So that you're worried about, if that's David Andrews at center instead of James Ferentz, if that's Trent Brown at left tackle instead of Andrew Stuber, and instead of Mafi at left guard, it's Cole Strange, they have better chemistry. They understand how to pick these things up. They have better anticipation. All of those things are going to be shored up. So obviously, like you said, there's other things that happen in the play, but the main focus, yes.
It's important to remember, offensive line is a weak link position group. Like secondary, a weak link position group. Like defenses, when you're game planning, not that the Packers were sort of game planning for this. It's preseason. You're not doing stuff like that. But as you get into the regular season, if you've got 4 studs and one big question mark, where are the stunts going to come? Where the sim pressure is going to come? They're not going to come aiming at the 4 studs. They're going to be aiming at the one guy that you have questions about as an offense, that the defense thinks, look, we can confuse this guy. We can make him late on switches. We can get into his head. We can show him some sim pressures and get him blocking air. And so that's something to watch going forward as they get their starting 5 on the field. What does that unit look like? Who is the potential weak link? And therefore, who are the teams going to start targeted with these pressure schemes?
And with that in mind, would your preference for the tackle spot? Now, Calvin Anderson, it's kind of confusing because he's really been a left tackle in his career. So maybe Trent Brown moves to right. But then you've also got some athletic options in Tyrone Wheatley, Vidarian Lowe, who I got to speak to him today. And he's a guy who I watched in the preseason, never gave up anything outside, but consistently gave up inside pressure. So I asked him, what's your plan if that happens in the regular season? Mac Jones is a pocket passer. And he actually said that in Minnesota, their priority was for him to get out and be aggressive in his pass sets and bring the fight to edge rushers. So he said with the Patriots, their emphasis is more on protecting inside out and protecting the pocket, so that you saw it with City so consistently in the preseason. Even though he didn't look super comfortable and maybe the foot speed on the field wasn't there were times where he would just barely push the guy out of the way, force him around the arc, and give the quarterbacks a couple extra seconds. So would you prefer someone like maybe like a Vidarian Lowe, who the chemistry might not be there and the experience on the field in terms of starting may not be there, but he has those athletic gifts and can grow? Or would you prefer a veteran who, maybe physically he may not give you the same upside, but he's seen these things before and has a better chance of being able to pick them up?
I think this is an important moment to sort of highlight and discuss what you've got at the quarterback position, because you've got to know your quarterback. You've got to know his strengths and weaknesses. With Mac Jones, it's similar in a sense, and I'm not making a one-to-one comparison here, but it's a similar play style to what you had years ago with Tom Brady, where quick interior pressure is going to be the problem. It's a bugaboo for every quarterback. It's a bugaboo for quarterbacks of all athletic types. But when you're more of the I have to win in the pocket by making small, subtle movements and creating space rather than escaping and running away from pressure, quick interior pressure is a death knell. So I want a veteran who's going to at least give me that, inside edge. So I know that, look, maybe he can get beat to the outside, but even, quarterbacks that are less athletic than the Kyler Murrays and the Lamar Jacksons of the world, they can deal with edge pressure by climbing the pocket and step it up and clicking and climbing. And Mac Jones is very good at that. When it's that quick interior pressure through an A gap, through a B gap, where you can't get set, you can't hit your drop depth, and you've got to move and react, that throws so much off in the passing game. When you're a timing and rhythm-based offense like the Patriots passing game is, that throws all that stuff out the window. So veteran, it doesn't matter. I want somebody who's going to protect that B gap.
I like that. So we've talked about what the coordinators can do, what the offensive line can do, but a lot of responsibility, as you know, as a former quarterback, also falls on the quarterback to make good decisions, get the ball out on time, et cetera, to also help the offensive line. So what's an example of a play that we saw from the preseason where Mac Jones maybe in the regular season did, or in the play, or could do a better job of helping his guys out in the trenches as well?
Yeah, I mean, and maybe this isn't sort of the best example, but here you're going to get quick pressure off the edge here. You're going to get quick pressure off the edge down here at the bottom of the screen. This is an RPO design. He's going to end up throwing RPO band slant right here, okay? But what I love about Mac Jones on this play is how quickly he decides what he's going to do with the football and how quickly he gets it out. Because this is, as a quarterback executor in an RPO design, when you've got to carry out that mesh, that run fake to your left, as a right-handed quarterback, that is very difficult to do. It's not a natural movement. Like when you've got to carry out that mesh to your right side, your hallway's already set as a quarterback. But as you watch here, you're going to see Jones have to turn left, make this run fake, and then flip his feet and flip his hips and set that hallway to make the throw on the slant route to the left side. See right there, see that right foot, that's front. Mm-hmm. Like that's not your natural throw motion as a quarterback. Remember, he's throwing bang slant right here. So now he's got to really flip things around as he's already got somebody in the lap. Like this is like guy at his moment, in his kitchen already. He's got to get it out immediately. Strong, accurate throw. Maybe this isn't the greatest example, but from the preseason clips that I've studied, this is an example of a quarterback covering up for a mistake up front, because you've got immediate pressure in his lap. It's a tough, unnatural movement here, but it just snaps off this throw. It's hard to do better than that.
And this is something I remember he did a lot at Alabama, this same type where it's not easy footwork. Is that just a repetition kind of thing? Is there a particular trait that Mac has that allows him to make a difficult adjustment like this? What exactly is behind that?
I mean, it's familiarity. I mean, it's familiarity. It's a comfort level with the concept, with the call, with the design. It's something that he's done before. Like you said, obviously at Alabama ran a lot of second level RPOs and some third level RPOs where you're going RPO and then attacking downfield. And this, again, if you watch other quarterbacks that run these types of designs, like one of the things that I loved about Joe Burrow coming out of LSU was plays like this when you've got to carry out this mesh to your left, but do a really good and quick job of snapping your feet back, setting that hallway so you can make a good throw. Some quarterbacks might even try just to come out and just throw it, just to get it out, but you're not going to get enough velocity on it. You're not going to be able to place it as properly as you need to in this moment. But Mac knows exactly where he's going with the football. And this is a very athletic play too, because he's got a guy right in his lap. He's got to turn those feet around and snap it off. It's a very good play. This is an example of a quarterback covering up a mistake up front, making a quick decision with his mind, knowing exactly where he's going to go with the football. Because again, he knows pretty much before this ball is snapped, unless you get somebody dropping off, unless somebody flies and runs into this alley here, buzzes in front of him, this is where he's going with the football. You're not running into this look. This is an RPO look. You're going to see offensive linemen climb here to the second level. This is a clear RPO. It's not play action play. Like you're going to see linemen climb here, but he knows, look, we are not running into this front. We are throwing it. I've got to make this throw. I've got to get this out. You get the stunt inside, so it's a clear throw. Really good job.
And do you think he already decided he was going to make the throw? Or because I actually tried to do an audio breakdown of this, maybe I was wrong. Is he reading that safety who's in man coverage against Hunter Henry? Or is this a pre-snap thing where he's saying, all right, he already saw the safety start to come down and said, all right, as long as I sell this at the mesh point well enough.
There's a couple of different ways that you can sort of do these. Some are a true sort of RPO where you're isolating and reading a defender. Some are what we just call sort of a box count, a ratio RPO, where you're looking at the numbers up front and you're seeing, look, we've got 3 down linemen, we got 2 edge, so we got 5, 6 in the box. We've got 6 as well, but this is free here. We're going to trust him to win on the slant. So we're looking at this right away and we're saying, look, you know what? This is the route that I want to throw. This is the route that I want to throw right here. I don't want to run into this front because now we've got safety lurking down in the box as well. So if you count him as part of the box count, you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against your 6 up front. You're probably not going to run that. So then you're going to take this slant route, trust that he wins up top and make the throw. Now, there are other things you can build in off of this. Like you could also see you see a lot of package plays where backside here, you get the bubble. So you might get block here, bubble here, and maybe that's what you do. And in a situation like that, you're probably not even making that mesh. You're probably just catching and throwing here. If you like that, that's something you see teams build in on these RPO package type plays. But, for the most part, again, don't know exactly how they're teaching this and how they're coaching this up. But this is, for the most part, probably a box count read where he's seeing the numbers in the box and thinking, I'm not running him into this. I'm taking my chances on this slant route.
I like that. And I watched all of his Alabama RPOs, or at least the ones that were successful in his last year. And sometimes he'll tip you off based on what he's doing with his eyes. Because there were some where I think it is a box count where you can see he's looking down and you're just like, there's no way that he isn't deciding this post snap, because if he's dropping his eyes, he's trying to sell that, all right, this is a run, pop up, his eyes go to the slant and fires it. And this is definitely one where, as you said, it seems like a box count read. That's fantastic. So Mac Jones. We've seen how Bill O'Brien can help him. We've seen how he can help his protection as well. Now let's go to Bailey Zappe. Now, he did struggle, from what I saw, with his progressions a lot in Bill O'Brien's offense, where there were times where, you kind of just go bam, 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 and it should quickly be out. We see that with Mac, but that wasn't really the case with Zappe. But clearly the Patriots valued him because, yes, they put him on waivers, but not only did he decide to come back, I think he got like 7 other offers, it was reported, decided to sign back with New England. Clearly, they also value him to a degree as well. So what are some signs of optimism for Bailey Zappe in places that he could grow as a Patriot?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, one of the things that I liked about Zappe coming out, and one of the things that you still see right now, is decision-making and ball placement. This is the touchdown, the long touchdown against the Packers here. And it's a day one install. And what I mean by that is, look, back in my day, like this was one of the first route concepts we would dial up. First day, first practice of training camp, first practice of double sessions. We called it 2-1-2 in our terminology. 2 being your slant route on the outside, 1 being your out route from the slot receiver. Slant flat is how you often hear it described. Now, what I love about this is how quickly he gets to where he's going to make this throw, how quickly he sets himself up from a sort of mechanical standpoint, and the anticipation you see on this throw, because he's throwing this against man coverage, which is the right decision, I think. And he's got to work around the underneath hole defender. That's this linebacker right here. A lot of this is going to be a cover one scheme here, man coverage across the board, one deep safety who's your deep, what we call hole help or inside help. Your underneath linebacker here is also your underneath help on the lower level, on that second level of the defense. And his job is to help protect against inside break-in routes, slant routes, things like that. And so his job here is to help take away the route, the slant that he ends up throwing. But you'll see the quick decision, the quick read of this. Immediately, he gets his eyes. He sees that whole defender. He confirms the coverage. First thing you do as a quarterback, take a snap, go safety down, make sure, okay, it's single high, it's man coverage. These guys are in man outside. I've got to throw this slant route. This is where I want to go with the football. That's the good read, because this underneath defender, the slot defender, he's going to break out with the out route. So there's your throwing lane, but you've got to work it around this guy. If you wait for him to clear this defender, it's going to be late and he's going to make a play. So you see ball's already out, and that underneath defender can't get there. Again, it's a day one install. I get it. It's something that he's probably run 8 million times. But this is a very, very good job here by Zappe, because, again, you've got to navigate that whole defender, which he does. You can't wait to see this come open. You've got to anticipate that window. Ball's out right here. He can't get there. Hit him in stride. Catch and go touchdown. I love this play.
That's beautiful. Accuracy, anticipation, understanding what he's got. On top of those traits, what are some other things that you've seen from Zappe, maybe even outside this play, that you think Bill O'Brien can work with and say, hey, like, I'll teach you how to do X, Y, Z, but this is what I've got in the package that is Bailey Zappe, and I'm going to use this to the best.
I mean, I know you've got a play we're going to highlight. That's the progression side of it. And I think progressions, getting deeper into the progressions, I think is important for him, because look, a lot of times in the college game, particularly the offense he was running in college, your first or second read are probably going to be somebody's going to be there. Like the way his offense was structured. It's not the case in the NFL when you've got, better athletes in the secondary, better athletes underneath. Like, they're going to take away reads 1 and 2 and 3. Sometimes you got to get to 4. Sometimes you got to get to 5. And so getting deeper into his progressions, I think, is going to be important. And sort of field vision, I think, is going to be important. But these are like nitpicky things for a young quarterback, that when you've got a lot of the foundation there, the accuracy, the decision-making for the most part, like, you're asking that little extra stuff to be added. The good foundation is there, I think, to build upon. It's just getting him from where he is right now, which is kind of what I like to call the sort of, chef type of quarterback, where it's like, you've got to go by the book step by step by step, to be in that sort of baker where you can be a little paint outside the lines. You can be a little bit more creative. You can say, go off script. If you see something break late, maybe it's not truly in your progressions, but look, I got this alert. I got this go route. I got this, peek at type of route that I've got an opportunity to make a big play. Yeah, it's not my third read. It's not my second read. It's my fifth read, but I like it. I can take that shot.
I like that. You mentioned the play that I was going to bring up. We'll actually go, since we're on the topic Zappe, we can go to that next. But first, got to pay the bills. So Amit, throw it to our partners at Fanduel, please, and thank you.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from Fanduel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. That's guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. It absolutely is. The app is easy to use, and you can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston. Kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
All right, so back on the topic of Bailey Zappe, I'm going to bring up a couple plays where I want your opinion, because I have an idea of what I thought he should have been doing, but as a former quarterback, I would like to default to you. So I'm going to bring up my screen real quick. All right. So here we've got a play. It's a mesh rail play. So first you're going to see J.J. Taylor switch sides. he is going to run the rail, where basically he's reading this defender to determine, okay, am I going to kind of go flat because he's got a bubble over? Or if this guy decides to go shallow, I'm going to take this up and throw a wheel. This is one of Mac's favorite routes. I think we saw him throw it to James White when he was healthy. I think Brandon Bolden caught a couple off this. We're also going to see a mesh concept with the tight end here, basically trying to pick the man defender who's covering Riley Webb. So they're going to try to get him free on the concept, and then you basically got a clear-out route from Kayshon Boutte. So here's how the play turns out. You can see Zappe initially look to the back. Doesn't want that, which I understand. It's a preseason game. You kind of want to make a more aggressive read. That's fine. And then you're going to see Matt Sokol right here. You see he's looking at 21 to try to pick him off. But the middle defender does a good job, number 2, getting down over that route. Now, Kayshon Boutte is going to get open behind it. That's how this route progresses, where, he's going to bite on the shallow route. Because it's off coverage with Kayshon Boutte, he's open. Instead of going there, Zappe decides to go to Sokol, who's actually setting the pick. Ball isn't super accurate. That's a correctable mistake. Incomplete. So from your opinion, Mark, where did you think Zappe could have improved on this read exactly? And I can control it and, however you want it to play out.
Yeah, no, I think you're pretty much right here. This is mesh rail Y sit or mesh rail sit, however you want to term it. So you've got, the running back on that rail route. That's your alert. That's your peak. That's your first read. Oh, somebody's playing Elden Ring. Love that game. That's your first read, right? Like that's where your eyes go first. But, whenever I do something like this, and we talk about mesh, I bring this out. This will be Mike Leach's presentation on mesh from 2014. Mike Leach, one of the gods of the air raid, one of the gods of the mesh concept. He always talked about, and he talked about it in this clinic here, how when you put that wheel route in, the quarterback wants to throw it all the time. But that's really sort of to draw the defense. If the route's there, you take it. But Zappe, he does a good job. Peak, it's not there. I'm going to get off of it and come to the mesh crosser. We get the 2 crossers. Now, like you said, look, the tight end's trying to set the pick. Whole defender helps on what we call the play side crosser, which is that crosser going from left to right. So he doesn't throw that. So he goes alert to basically your primary read, which is that play side crosser. It's not there. First 2 decisions, first 2 no-throw decisions, which I like to call them, those are great. Now, the nitpicky thing becomes some teams want you to go to the backside crosser next. Some teams, and I think New England is one of those, they want you to go to that sit route next. And that sit route over the ball is open. That's where he should go next, based on my understanding of the New England system and how they've been coaching mesh rail, how they've been coaching this concept. Go to that sit route first. Instead, he comes off of it and goes to what we call the sort of backside crosser here, makes a poor throw. He does a good job stepping up. The first 2 sort of no-throw decisions are good. I like the fact he didn't throw the rail. I like the fact he didn't throw the play side crosser. But I think for the next decision here, he's going to get his eyes and throw that sit route. Again, good job climbing the pocket, gives him a chance to see it. That's a dangerous throw. It's inaccurate for one. If it's even less accurate, that might be 6 going the other way. That's why most systems now want you, go to the alert, the wheel, and then that play side crosser, then get your eyes to the sit. Now, he might be maybe he's more used to a system where that sit route is more your zone beater, where, if you're in zone coverage, those crossers are going to sit down the first window they see, but you've got that sit route. Maybe that's in the back of his mind, which is why he's trying to fight back to get to that backside crosser. But from my understanding of their system in New England, you got to throw that sit route.
Fantastic. All right, so I got one more play from Zappe, and then we're going to get to your guy, Malik Cunningham. I'm dying to hear your take on him. So this is one where you're going to see the Titans are in a too-high defense, and to the bottom of the screen, you're going to see – I know this play is a sucker concept. So right here, you're going to see Webb kind of sit in an underneath route, and you're going to see Thyrick Pitts run a dig on the backside. And the way I see this, as soon as he sees, in my opinion, as soon as Zappe sees this middle linebacker turn his hips towards the strong side, and then this underneath defender jumps Riley Webb's route underneath, it should open a void in Zappe's mind right here where, as long as I'm on time, hit my back foot here, come out, throw this as the receiver's coming out of his break, anticipation, throw first down. What, in your opinion, is Zappe seeing? I'll play it once full speed just so everybody can see the entire play.
Yeah, he's feeling color here. You know, when you're a quarterback, you can't really see sort of the numbers and the players that are coming, but you see color. He sees blue here. He sees that flash of blue right there. Two defenders pushing the pocket in front of him. He's looking at that route. Like, that's where he wants to go with it. But he feels that pressure. He sees that flash of color in front of his eyes, and he feels like he has to reset and climb. Now, at that point, you've probably got, because you've got a similar concept. It's a mirrored concept, mirrored sucker to both sides. You've got the two sort of in-break and curl routes to pick from. Now that middle linebacker, this Tampa 2 coverage here, he's working back because he's reading Zappe's eyes. He sees where Zappe wants to go with it. You could hit the other one. You could hit either one of these. Or if you want to get super creative here, look at the top of the screen.
Yep, that's just going to say.
I mean, that's the other thing. Like once you're sort of going off script here and climbing the pocket, you've got, again, this Tampa 2, that corner is throttling down in that cloud. Yeah. You've got the whole shot available. Like he's got that 3 options here. That initial curl where his eyes are, and he pulls it down because he's feeling that pressure. Okay, now you start to climb. You've still got those 2 curls. And if you want to be super creative, you're looking in this direction to get to your check down, take that whole shot. Now, it's a 1st and 10 situation where this play is running. You're in plus territory. Maybe you don't want to force it. Okay, take the check down. But this is the sort of play I had in mind when I talked about that idea between being a baker and being a chef, right? Chef, you're going step by, baker, you're following the recipe. You're going step by step. He's going 1 to 2 to 3 to check down. More creative quarterbacks, more, risk-willing quarterbacks, the sort of chef types that are willing to explore a little bit, they're going to try that whole shot, particularly in a preseason game. And so, I think you're right. Like, this is an interesting concept here. It's a mirrored sucker. He's got both routes. I understand maybe why he pulled it down initially, but he still had 1, 2, 3 options available to him. And instead he goes to the check down. Now, maybe again, 1st and 10 situation plus territory. Don't make a mistake. Maybe that's what he's thinking. But sometimes you want to take that chance, especially at a preseason game.
And I like that you mentioned the preseason game. Like, these things don't count. And this is one area where you like to hear Mac Jones. Actually, Adrian Phillips said it, that, and I'll get my screen back over here. You heard Adrian Phillips actually say that Mac is trying to kill us in practice. Like, he is going for those shots and trying to throw it over their heads whenever the opportunities present themselves. And sometimes in practice, you'll see like Mac Jones, he threw an interception. And there were some where, I think Kyle Duggar picked him off 3 times. I'm telling you, every single interception was Max saying, like, all right, the play broke down. I'm just going to try this and see if I can do it. Whereas, like, rolling out, throws across his body, and it's like, Mac, don't do that. But in a game last season, that's in a vacuum. We don't expect him to make those kinds of mistakes. But he's trying things. And this isn't a preseason game where, like you say, if he goes to the sideline, he tries, the outside concept. It doesn't work out. Bill O'Brien's like, all right, I see what you're doing. Do X, Y, Z next time. You'd like to see from a starter, which Bailey is not, try to go for the more aggressive approach and see if you can do it, if you cannot, and work from there rather than maybe, again, not the worst thing in the world, taking an easy throw on 1st down. So now, man of the hour, Malik Cunningham. What did you see from him? Because like I said, he's been working at receiver. I don't think that's where he thrives necessarily. And you actually broke the news, and I think the Patriots community, that Malik Cunningham is a quarterback. And he had limited opportunities against Houston. He came in for 2 plays against the Titans. First was incomplete because he was under pressure. Second one, he throws like off his back foot on 4th and 11, completes it for a 1st down towards the end of the game. So clearly he's got the chops. So in your opinion, what was a play that you saw from him this preseason that shows Malik Cunningham's got it?
It might be the most boring play we're going to talk about tonight. And that's okay, because I think it's important. And so I'm going to pull it up here. And then share my screen here. Let's see. Window. There we go.
Oh, technology.
I know, but it should be coming up. There we go. Right there. Okay. So this is, we're trying to remember the situation here. It's a 1st and 10 situation. Okay. It's against Houston. And we're going to run what in my offense we called 9-8-9. Some systems called Dagger, Dancer, not Dagger, where you're going to get 9 vertical route here, vertical route here. Slot receiver is going to run a post, which again, single high, cover 1, cover 3 is going to convert and flatten, because you're not going to run a post into the teeth of that safety. You're going to flatten that route and turn it into a dig route. That's what happens here. All 3 of those options are taken away. Like, as he takes the snap, and gets his eyes downfield. You're going to see why he doesn't throw any of them. Hits his depth here. Corner's got cushion over this 9 route. That's not going anywhere. This is going to be a tight window to try to hit that dig route, and there's good coverage here, so he wants to get to the check down pretty quickly. Now, back here, chip and releasing. But you can see how far ahead of things he is with his mind, because he's already thinking, look, this linebacker's getting depth. I'm not getting that dig route here. This, again, the cushion there, I'm not throwing a 9 route into that. That's a pick waiting to happen. Coverage here is good. I want to throw this check down. I get my eyes on the check down. Wait, he's not even looking at me. And that's the point here. He's so far ahead of this route and this coverage with his mind that he's already waiting to get the ball out. Back's not even ready. Back's not even into his route yet. So he's got to reset and pressure in his face and back foot this throw from an imperfect platform and still sticks it on him for a 5-yard gain. It's a 5-yard gain. It's boring. I get it. But in contrast to the sort of the Zappe play we just worked through, he wanted to take one of the big shots. They weren't there. I get why he didn't do that. He has then the ability to get ahead of this concept with his mind and realize, look, I'm not taking any of those 3 routes. I got to get to the check down. I want to throw it. He's not there. Okay. Get this guy up and down, put it on the money. This is a very nice play. Again, it's just a little 5-yard gain, but I like where the kid's head is at when he plays the quarterback position. And so he's got mobility, he's got athleticism, he's got the willingness to attack downfield, but the wherewithal and the ability to get ahead of things with his mind that he can look downfield, get through multiple reads, check it down when he needs to.
And you mentioned his ability to make those plays off script. There was the throw to Trey Nixon that was dropped.
Right.
The beautiful pass where you see him roll out, throw on the run, and throw it away from coverage. Again, obviously drop, but that was one where I was like, damn, okay. It's obviously, like you said, the checkdowns aren't exciting in the grand scheme of a football game, but when you're thinking of a guy's mental process, you like to see, especially when you saw the back wasn't even ready to get the route, so he pumps, doesn't throw it when the guy's not ready, and still makes the check down. Mark, going to be sensitive to your time. I really, really appreciate this. I learned so much. I had a blast. The floor is yours, my friend. Anything you'd like to plug, promote, let me know what's coming out so I can put it on my calendar. The floor is yours.
Well, my friend, it is always a blast to be with you, buddy. I look forward to doing more of these in the future because I love chopping it up with you. It's always fun to talk ball with you, my friend. Over at SB Nation, we got our big NFL preview coming out on Tuesday. We're going to have multiple pieces. You're going to have me on Lamar Jackson and his new offense. You're going to have me and JP Acosta on, the 12-21 personnel. It's stuff that I think the trends that I think we're going to see. You're going to have me on, some of the scheme trends, sort of league wide that you're going to see here, I think, in the 2023 season. So it's been a blast. Can't wait to do it again when we get some regular season ball to chop it up about.
Me too, buddy. It's kind of weird seeing the Ravens like having to get rid of receivers they like. Usually
usually they're holding on to any receiver they can, but now it's a little different down in Baltimore.
We like to see Lamar Jackson with weapons. JP, also another friend of the show, so that is must-view content. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in. This is a blast. We appreciate your comments and all your thoughts and everything. Thank you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, and we will see you next time.